we can get pretty demotivated at times, and we can look for something new. We look for novelty. We seek a new adventure. For example, we switch interest in the content that we consume. Maybe we try another business model. Maybe we try and research something differently. Oftentimes, we can see a pattern in like when we get bored and when we want to seek out something new. I tend to get this syndrome quite often, like the grass is always greener, shiny object syndrome, it's also called. When we get shiny object syndrome, we reset our progress. And I just want you to realize that when we get shiny object syndrome, it is for a reason. It is because you probably, just like I have a call inside of you for an adventure. Like, it's called basically the hero's journey. It sounds very cringe, but I'm gonna cover it because it's a quite great characterization. I think it's made up by like Alex Hormozi. I don't really remember, but it's some entrepreneur or some person in like the personal development space. But this is the thing. We have something inside of us that basically want us to take from point A to point B, leveraging like our own abilities to get there. That was a bad explanation, but we want to go from point A, where we are right now. We want to develop the character skills to get to point B, where we will feel loved, fulfilled, happy, etc. And there's a huge problem here. Can you see it? It is that we are delaying our happiness for our future self. You've likely heard about delayed gratification if you're anything like me. Delayed gratification is when you do something right now and you prolong it for your future self, basically. So you don't eat the junk food today so that you have a better physique tomorrow. That's a great thing. That's a great thing. But the problem with all of this is that we're telling ourselves repeatedly, we're installing a belief system that we will only be happy when we've achieved X. And when that happens, when we do achieve it, which we most of the time do, we're not happy, we're not fulfilled, we don't feel it, we don't feel that fire inside of us, we don't feel that happiness, because then we're aiming for Y, then we're going to the next milestone. This is a huge problem, because what I've realized is that as soon as I have accomplished a goal, I have set a new one, and a new one, and a new one, and I haven't been happy. I haven't been happy because I've just been striving for more. And it is because we use the present moment wrong. It's not wrong, but we use the present moment so that we become unhappy, essentially. If we can leverage, instead of actually thinking about the future as a real concept, because the future isn't really real, it's just now, but in the future, essentially. So you are in the present moment, which is now. There will never ever be a different moment than now. You will never live in the future. You will never live in the past. You can just be in the present moment, but you can envision the future. And of course, it's great to have somewhat of a direction of where you want to go in the future, because that gives you a lot more clarity on what to act on in the present. But what I'm telling you with all of this is that if you're not happy or fulfilled in the present moment, then why are you thinking that a watch, for example, this is a cheap watch by the way, but why are you thinking a watch, a car, a house, a person, a relationship, whatever, is gonna make you happy in the future? Why? Truthfully, why do you think that? I'm talking to my younger self here because I've spent months just like using the present moment as leverage to gain momentum to the future. But it's like you're trying to grab this thing, but it's moving even further away from you all the time. So as you progress on your journey, you're chasing this thing, and you're getting closer, and then you set a new goal, and then it's this, and then of course you make progress in the external things, but inwardly you feel shit. You don't wanna. You don't even like. You don't even feel the fire of living anymore. You're not grateful for your freaking life. Isn't the point of life to at least enjoy it? And I'm not saying that we're gonna be lazy. I'm not saying that we're gonna doom scroll because that's gonna make us happy. I'm not saying any of that. What I'm trying to tell you is that we need to realize that instead of leveraging the present moment to achieve said goal in the future, appreciate the present moment, and then you can go and pursue the things just as a fun little game for you to enjoy, because you're not pursuing a goal to make you happy. You're pursuing a goal because you want to have something to do with your time because you're already happy. Otherwise, when you're unhappy, when you feel anxious, when you feel stressed, it's very easy to succumb to these negative habits, for example, scrolling, junk food, whatever your vices might be, video games, whatever. All of these things, you usually succumb to them when like you're bored or you're anxious or whatever. That's usually when you succumb to your worst habits and you go back to your like old self. What if we could just be totally and utterly present and just observe our thoughts, our emotions, our body, and everything like that? We're gonna make such a difference in our overall mood when we do this. But what you have to realize is that there's latency. There's something called latency with this. When you start being present today, there will take a couple of days or even weeks for it to catch up. So you have to give it some time. But the fastest way to leverage this is breath work. Breath work has completely changed my life. You can search up the methods, you can go and watch like breath work tutorials and everything. I have a couple of ones inside of my free community and link in the description if you want to join that. But here's the thing. When it comes to the present moment, don't try and understand it with like your intellectual brain, because the present moment, the whole point of being present is that it is not like something you've experienced before, because words can't really explain it. It's more like the sensation where when you're just observing your thoughts and like you can almost eliminate your thoughts. Of course, a part of the present moment is that your mind will wander away and then you just return yourself back into the rhythm of like not trying to like think again. So basically what you're doing is you're focusing on the present, you're focusing on your breathing pattern, you're focusing on where you're sitting. Maybe you're observing like a leaf or a tree or whatever. Just observe the things, your surroundings. Then inevitably you will get a thought until you've mastered this. I haven't mastered this, but you will get a thought. I will as well, but you will get a thought. Then what will happen is that you'll realize, oh, I'm thinking. Just kind of like that small little observation. And you don't really need to think about it. Create some distance between your thoughts. Maybe say it out loud in a weird voice or think it in a weird voice. Like if I was thinking about a tree, for example, oh, that's a beautiful tree, for example. And then maybe you say it with a weird voice. You maybe just like laugh at it and smile at it, because you are not your thoughts. You're just the consciousness that is observing the thoughts, if that makes sense. This is such a deep topic that you will need to take a lot of time, a lot of introspective work to actually do this, because the whole point of this is that words doesn't make account for this, because the whole point of it is try and distance yourself a bit from the intellectual world, from the world of work, from the world of like speaking and everything, and just spending time present. And this is where happiness lies. This is where inner fulfillment will come. And truthfully, this is how we can build beautiful things, because right now I'm at like the peak of my own performance on camera, for example, if that's something that makes sense with you. It is because my inner voice is not like chatting shit all of the time right now when I'm speaking, because it's very hard for me to think about something and articulate an idea. So it's quiet just like that, because I'm in a flow state, and that's when I'm able to just speak from my heart. I don't have a script. I don't even have a video title. I don't have a script. I just like come up with an idea that I feel like recording about. I have a mission, I have a purpose of like, I want to maybe do this. And then I just sit down, record about an idea. So I encourage you, make that decision and try to do that today. And I really, really do hope that you got some value out of this video. If you want to join my free community, do that, and do the YouTube algorithm stuff like subscribe and everything if you want to. And I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.